Good evening. My colleagues and I are here today to propose the moot, be it resolved that we have more to fear than to cheer. To begin my defense, I would like to state the Oxford Schools Dictionary definition of the word fear. Fear is a feeling that something unpleasant may happen. The definition of the verb is to feel fear, be afraid of someone or something. I would also like to define the word cheer, which means to give a cheer, gladden, or encourage someone. With these definitions, the moot can be restated to say, we resolve that we have more to be afraid of than to encourage. Now that I have defined the keywords in the moot, I will be explaining why we have more to fear as pertaining to our ecology. One of the most beneficial industries, especially in Jamaica, is the tourism industry. It brings in foreign currency, employs a local workforce, and gives this island a great image. But as we enjoy these benefits, we sometimes fail to realize the risks we are taking and tourism's dangers to our ecology. According to the website, Environmental Impacts on Tourism, negative impacts from tourism occur when the level of visitors is greater than the environment's ability to cope with this risk within the acceptable limits of change. With that said, these impacts include, but are not limited to, soil erosion, increased pollution, discharge into the sea, natural habitat loss, increased pressure on endangered species, vulnerability to forest fires, and so on. Now, while we are praising the various tourist attractions for their hospitality, their food, their entertainment, and so on, we seem to neglect the dangers that providing these pose. The constant building and upkeep of these attractions are, quoting from the site stated earlier, putting pressure on our natural resources, where resources are already scarce. Natural resources like water are being wasted every day to fill swimming pools or water golf courses and riding trails, etc. In fact, in the Mediterranean, 440 liters are used a day by visitors, twice as much as the locals. More and more water is necessary, which leads to overpumping, which can cause saline intrusion in water. The construction of hotels, recreational facilities, and other infrastructure has led to fertile soil being covered, wetlands disappearing, and habitats as well. Shifting focus on tourism, the manufacturing industry also provides many dangers to our ecology. The waste ejected from these factories sometimes discharge into the sea, killing sea life. Exhaust from cars and other motor vehicles rising to the sky, destroying the ozone layer. Forests being destroyed to make paper. Oil being released into the sea when extracting it to make petrol or to run vehicles and machinery. Oil itself is a resource that is being depleted.
One information,
Yes.
Do you think, will you attribute that to tourism, or why not attribute it just to everyday society?
Attribute what?
For example, the tearing down of trees to make paper.
That's not the point that I'm trying to make. All of these industries, I'm trying to say myself, that all of these industries, and I only stated only two of them, all of these industries have a very, very bad impact on our ecology.
Point of information.
Not accepted. Judges, the fact is, these industries and others are dangerous to our environment, yet we still encourage them and support them. After all, this being said, the question may be asked, why show all these facts? The worst of these is not happening now. All endangered species are not extinct. All the habitats are not gone. The forests aren't all destroyed. But my opponents, this is exactly my point. Although these things are not happening now, with all that is going on now, we have all the reason to fear them. These potential impacts are far more important than the great food, the hot cars, the luxury of the finest hotels, and so on. Gentlemen, as I finish, I would like to leave you with a thought. When our resources are used up, when our environment becomes hazardous, where do we live then? Although there is much more information that I could share with you, I will now close to give way to my second speaker, who will speak about the bad economic climate, and my third speaker, who will speak on politics of today. I have now opened the door for the proposition to firmly defend the move, be it resolved that we have more to fear than to cheer. The proposition is.
Everybody goes, right? 5 minutes. How can the proposition make a comparison of the good and bad of tourism without highlighting any good that it does? It seems as if the proposition has neglected all the good. They've grouped environmental degradation and divided it down into subgroups, yet linking to the positives of tourism only to swimming in swimming pools. What about the economic growth that can be further divided into fiscal advantages, political advantages, and social advantages? They fail to address these. Judges, yes, my colleagues, my most worthy opponents, they. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Point of information.
Not accepted, I mean my first minute. Franklin D. Roosevelt, 32nd President of the United States. Be it resolved that we have more to fear than to cheer. It is with courage and confidence that we, the opposition, disagree with this ludicrous attack on the wholesomeness of life.
Point of information.
Accepted.
But before you continue to mislead the audience and the judges, my first speaker did highlight two of the pros of tourism, and he did say that it provides competencies and it created a positive aesthetic image for the
Yes, my opponents, but what are the subgroups of remittances? Just as he highlighted the subgroups of deforestation. In order to support our claim, we the opposition will touch on the magnificence of humanity, namely the versatility of humanity, and how man has sidestepped or progressed on from major stumbling blocks that may lead to fear. The magnificence of politics and the major types of fear. This will be done by me, your first speaker, then my third, fourth, and my second, third, and fourth speaker, respectively. Now, in order to advance our argument, key terms in the moot must be defined, namely more, fear, and cheer. All definitions were provided by the Oxford Dictionary. Thank you. More, the comparative of many, much, meaning to a greater extent. Fear, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Cheer, to give support, to give comfort or support to. The moot redefined, therefore, is be it resolved that we have a greater extent of unpleasant emotion caused by belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or afflict, than to give comfort or support. I highly doubt that the proposition believes this, judges. Does the proposition believe that they themselves, that we are living in a world where unpleasant emotions caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous is overrunning comfort and support? If so, then why is it that the world continues to progress daily with new innovations? This does not represent fear. This is support. Stefan, you asked a point of information. Do you believe that you had more to fear than to cheer when you were featured in the Glean a couple weeks ago? Sitting here, now, do you believe that you have more unpleasant emotions caused by the belief that someone or something at the Gleaner was causing you pain or threatened you? I think not. For fear to be greater, it would have to be the primary emotions of humanity. After redefining the mood, we realized that if this were so, the world would be living in depression and frozen in a state of stagnancy instead of developing. Let us look at Halloween, for example. Yes, many of us are scared, but look at the comfort and the level of support with which millions of people go about imitating characters that are supposed to be frightening. Terrorism is one of the world's most heinous crimes, yet one could find Osama bin Laden costumes selling around the world for less than $25 US. I googled it, and there are over more than 69,000 hits. And it came with over 69,000 hits. Wow, that does not seem like fear of terrorism. More like temporary discomfort. My opponents, do not mistake discomfort or grief with fear. Do not mistake unacceptance or ignorance as fear. It is humanity's magnificence in development that allows us to move on from temporary shock or unacceptance and to create things that bring us comfort, cheer. What was once a fearful night has grown into the second largest holiday in the United States, behind only Christmas, as stated by www.bsu.edu, Ball State University, grossing over $5 billion in sales in 2009, according to greenhalloween.org. Yes, people have fear, but fear does not last, my opponent. It is only temporary. It carves the way for cheer to take over, for development to occur, for the magnificence of humanity to come to light and bring about comfort and support. I thank you.